Well, hello there. Welcome to Ivy's Fortress. I'm Ashante, and I'm going to be reading I Am Oprah Winfrey by Brad Meltzer, illustrated by Christopher Eliopoulos. And this is a series that inspired Xavier Riddle and the Secret Museum. If you ever watch that on PBS Kids, I hope that you enjoy that show because it is very informative. It's super fun and very creative, and I watch it with my daughter all the time when it comes on PBS Kids channel. All right, so I'm gonna put my reading glasses on because these series are longer reads. So we gotta go ahead and get started so you're not watching an hour-long story time. Gotta clean my glasses off a little bit. I usually shove them in my hair like a headband, so that's why they stay dirty most of the time. Because they get grease and oil all over them. Well, we're outside. It's a bright, sunny fall day. My dogs are out here. People are walking. It's a beautiful Saturday, so you're going to hear a lot of background noise, and that's okay. So let's get reading. What makes a hero? Before Oprah Winfrey was a cultural icon, she was a young girl living in poverty who knew she could do anything. Through her perseverance and powerful speeches, she carved out a space for herself in the entertainment industry and proved that, to succeed, she didn't need to be anyone other than herself. Even as she became more powerful and famous, she never forgot that real greatness comes from helping others. This lively New York Times best-selling biography series inspires kids to dream big, one great role model at a time. You want to collect each book. Trust me, we're going to read a couple more stories from this series that I think you'll love too. All right, I Am Oprah Winfrey, illustrated by Christopher Eliopoulos and written by Brad Meltzer. And this is a Dial Books for Young Readers published book. I am Oprah Winfrey. I have a hard time getting that R in there. I also have a fire going too. So if you see the smoke come through, that's where it's from. I was born in Mississippi and grew up on my grandparents' farm. We had no TV, no telephone. There wasn't even a bathroom in our house. We were so poor, my overalls were made from potato sacks. Other kids would tease me. On the farm, I spent a lot of time alone. To entertain myself, I'd give speeches to the cows. Money was so tight, the only day I wore shoes was on Sunday. And I bet she made the best of that too. When we'd go to church at 3 years old, I'd recite Bible verses in front of everyone. Every Sunday, while speaking to the congregation, I felt good. I felt like my real self. I didn't know what gifted meant. I figured it meant I was special. I started to believe it. I remember watching my grandmother wash our clothes when I was 4 years old and thinking, my life won't be like this. It will be better. My grandmother gave me one of the greatest gifts of all. She taught me how to read. Sometimes all you need is someone to believe in you. In kindergarten, I wrote my teacher a note to say, a good teacher can change your life. In 4th grade, Mrs. Duncan told me I was the smartest girl she'd ever seen. Of course, that didn't mean life was easy. At 6 years old, I moved away from my grandparents. My mom and I couldn't afford a dog or cat, so I'd make pets out of cockroaches. Life is even more difficult when you're hard on yourself. At 8 years old, I thought my skin was too dark and I hated my wide nose so much that I'd sleep with a clothespin on it to try to make it smaller. Whew, that sounds painful. Imagine being pinched like this all night long. She probably couldn't even snore with that. And sometimes people didn't take care of me properly and I felt all alone. Thankfully, even in the darkness, I was able to find light. At 10 years old, I saw Sidney Poitier with the Academy Award for Best Actor. I've never seen a black man celebrated like that. A few months later, I saw the Supremes singing on TV. I'd never seen a black woman with so much talent and grace. That night changed my life. It's one of television's greatest roles, to inspire us and give us hope. Want to know what gave me the most hope, though? It's the thing that you're doing right now, reading. Eventually, I moved in with my dad and stepmother, who wanted me to read a book a week. During the hardest times of my life, reading saved me. When I had no friends, I always had books. Books can be a gift that lets you see yourself. They can open you to new possibilities. Even when I'm reading about someone different, I feel connected to them, which helps me understand more about myself. One day at school, the Reverend Jesse Jackson came to speak. For me, it was the speech of a lifetime. He talked about how so many in the civil rights movement have paved the way so that black students could receive the same education as white students. That night, I turned his words into a poster and stuck it to a mirror. Be excellent. Throughout my life, I would never stop trying to be excellent in effort, in giving, in graciousness. I try to make everything I do my personal best. In high school, I was vice president of my senior class and voted most popular. Then I won a college scholarship for my speech about the black community and the Constitution. I presented it in front of 10,000 people. But my biggest audience was still to come. When I was 16, to raise money for charity, I stopped by our local radio station. The DJ asked me a lot of questions. If you check this book out at your local library, you can read the speech bubbles. The radio station started paying me $100 a week to read the news on air. By the time I was 19, still in college, I became the first woman and first black news anchor in Nashville. It might sound like I was an overnight hit, but success isn't a rocket ship. It's a process, step by step, that started in that church when I was 3. I practiced my public speaking skills every day. By 22, I was co-anchoring the news in Baltimore, the 10th largest TV audience in the country. It didn't go well. The producers wanted to change how I looked. They hated my hair so much they sent me to a fancy salon to change it. But the hairdressers didn't know how to handle black hair, so her hair fell out. Sometimes it's hard for me to remember, but our self-worth shouldn't come from how we look. That's not all the station tried to change. After doing a story on a family whose house burned down in a fire, I went back the next day to give some blankets. My bosses said I was too emotional, but growing up the way I did helped me understand what others were going through. Soon after that, I was fired from being a news anchor, but the station was getting ready to launch a talk show and a new manager thought I'd be the perfect person for the job. Finally, I found my calling. The secret to the show's success was simple. All I had to do was be myself. There's nothing more beautiful than being understood and understanding someone else. After 6 years in Baltimore, I moved to an even bigger city, Chicago. Soon, the network turned my half-hour show into a full hour. They also gave it a new name, The Oprah Winfrey Show. Whether I was interviewing presidents, movie stars, or regular people, my approach never changed. I was the first black woman to have a nationwide TV program. I let people speak, and I let them know I was listening. Millions of others listened along with me. For 21 years, we were number one in our time slot. My team didn't stop there. In addition to the TV show, we also built a book club, a magazine, my own television network, and even my own studio, Harpo Productions, to make the films and TV shows I believe in. I'm only the 3rd woman in history and the first black woman to own a studio. Still, greatness doesn't come from fame. It comes from helping others. In South Africa, I also built the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls. It's a school where academically gifted girls from at-risk backgrounds can get amazing educations. Like me, when I was little, these girls just need a chance, someone to unlock the talent inside them and tell them they can do it. In my life, I was told my skin was too dark, my body was the wrong size, and that I cared too much about people. There's no such thing. This is who I am, and it's all I need to be. It's easy to worry about what others think. Don't let anyone define you. Don't let them tell you that you aren't enough. The only person you need to be is you. Take it from me. It's the greatest gift you can give yourself. Everyone has a story to tell. You do too. When you share your story with others, something becomes clear. You're not alone. The more we talk, the more we connect, the more we listen, the more we learn. I am Oprah Winfrey, and I know that to live your best life, you need to be your true self. The end. And her quote says, "Look inward, the loving begins with you." Oprah Winfrey. Now, Oprah Winfrey was born on January 29th in 1954, and she has accomplished so much, like we just read in her book, and she has been an inspiration for individuals like me and my peers and people all around the world. You know, when I started Ivy's Fortress, the goal was to just be there virtually for my daughter for bedtime. And then as it grew, I started to see that other people may need a story time teller at bedtime because their parents may work overnight like I was doing, or maybe working and not be able to do that activity with their child. And that is my favorite activity to do with not only my child, but my dogs and my peers and my friends and my colleagues and other children. Now, before I let you go, I'm going to read a little bit about the author and illustrator. Actually, no, I'm not, because this is a series, and I really want you to check out a book like this at your local library, because books like these change people's lives. They give them a perspective from someone who's been there and walked in those shoes and had those struggles. I mean, potato sacks is clothing. Never heard of it. But a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do so she can keep achieving, keep working, and enjoy her life. Oprah Winfrey is an inspiration to me to keep trying and helping others, because that's all I want to do. Well, that's all I have for you for today. Catch you next time. Bye. We truly enjoy sharing our adventures with you here at Ivy's Fortress. If you do too, like our videos and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Well, what are you doing? It is your choice, but we'll race you there. Bye.